We are back. Julie Donaldson and Kyle Stackpole, our Washington football team insider, with you. And Kyle, as we pretty much wrap up training camp, starting to wind down and just get into a regular week of practice because the season is almost here, it's time to talk about a few players that have been really hyped up through camp and how much are you really believing in the hype. So Kyle, here is what's on tap. And we're going to start with Troy Apke. This is a player that we keep hearing about from the coaches time in and time out, which makes you think he might have a significant role in this defense.
You know, that's what it seems like through through the entire training camp. So he was with the ones almost the entire time. He made a bunch of plays, especially late. It seemed like he got to the ball just in time, broke up a couple passes. But if I can quote Lee Corso, not so fast, my friend. There's been no preseason, so you haven't really seen him in a game with Landon Collins, and he hasn't been a full-time starter yet. So I like his skill set. I think the coaches like his skill set, and I think he will work good with Landon Collins. It seems like their communication is really on point, but we need to see it first before we can anoint him the long-term starter.
All right, so we'll hold off the reservations and see as we get closer to game time just what happens with Apke. What about Cam Sims? I feel like every training camp for the past few years we keep saying he has bright moments and he shines. But is it enough, you think, to buy into the hype?
If there was a training camp Pro Bowl roster, he would definitely be on it because, like you said, for the past 3 summers, he has really stood out in training camp. But since he entered the NFL in 2018, he's caught 2 passes for 27 yards in 8 games. And that's just not enough to validate the hype, even if he's performed well in training camp. So I think he has the skill set. He's a big physical receiver. He's made a bunch of catches to whoever's been throwing him the ball during training camp. Let's see what he can do when the lights come on in the regular season. And if he can emerge, that's really going to help the offense.
Jimmy Moreland, he is on everybody's radar as somebody that was coming up from a small school, had a knack for the ball, and yet he could still potentially have a bigger role with a whole bunch of more interceptions because he didn't really have any last season, but he's capable of them. You buying the hype?
I am definitely buying the hype. I am all in on the people's corner. Landon Collins said last year he should have had 7 interceptions. He just didn't trust himself. He didn't play with enough aggressiveness. And he's really shown in training camp. He's been all around the ball, a bunch of pass breakups. He had an interception on Dwayne Haskins. And I think in Jack Del Rio's defense, which really allows corners to be aggressive and make plays, he's going to take advantage of it. He might even lead the team in interceptions this year.
All right, I wouldn't put it past him. And again, every teammate that talks about him says the exact same thing, that his time is coming to pull those down and get those sexy numbers. How about Antonio Gibson, the rookie? You don't know if he's going to run, if he's going to run receiving routes, but you do know he's going to be used in Scott Turner's offense.
So I actually think that Antonio Gibson, he was my training camp MVP. So I definitely believe the hype on him. Scott Turner likes to use him in so many different situations, especially in the backfield. And he's even receiving more reps than he thought coming into his rookie year. So he's been with the first team a lot, rotating with Adrian Peterson and in there with J.D. McKissick. He's shown a real natural ability to run the ball between the tackles and outside. We know he can catch the ball with what he did at Memphis. He's going to have a big role in this offense from the beginning, and I'm excited to see what he can do with it.
He's going to be electrifying, and he may not be the absolute best running back on the roster right now, but before the season's over, he will be. I am certain of that should he stay out there.
Wow, okay.
Dwayne Haskins Jr. Look, there's been so much talk about how he went in last season, not knowing when he would get his time to come, and this season pretty much knowing that it was his team to lose.
Yeah, I bought the hype before this announcement, but now that Coach Rivera believes in him, I'm believing in him that much more. I know he's going to make some mistakes. There were some throws in training camps that resulted in interceptions, but I think he's really matured. He's really grown. He's shown that leadership, and he's going to be able to take this offense to wherever it wants to go with the pieces around him. So I'm on the hype train for Dwayne Haskins. You guys hop on.
I also love that you talk about the celebrations that he has with everybody. He's got it with everybody from offense to defense, the D-line. He's like, look, everyone that makes the play deserves to be acknowledged. They're one of his teammates. He engages with them. So we will see as Haskins will take the field as the #1 quarterback when the season opens against the Eagles.